Good morning, YouTube. Today we have Danny Pasula, and we'll be profiling his Bujin profile.
Alright, for my Bujins, I'm not, if anyone knows me, I'm not a huge fan of control decks, but this is probably definitely one of my favorites. So to start, we do play 3 Yamatos. This is the main engine of the deck. End phase, he searches anything, and you choose to discard any card from your hand. It's the main engine. We do play 2 Hirumes. This essentially speeds up the deck. Essentially, you banish any Bujin card from your graveyard to special summon it, and when it dies, either by battle or card effect, and you have a card, and both players have a hand, both players discard any card from their hand. So it's pretty good. Then we do play 2 Mizuchis. This thing's pretty good. Essentially, if any of your Bujin Beast Warrior monsters, a Beast Warrior Bujin dies, he can special summon himself, and then anytime a Bujin monster is sent from like your hand or field to the graveyard, you can search for a Bujin spell card. So it's pretty good. He searches out the power play of the deck. And then I do play 1 Arasuda. I'm just going to go ahead and read his effect right quick. If a Bujin monster in your graveyard or face up on the field is banished, except in damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. So that's pretty good. And then once per turn, during the end phase, if a Bujin card was added from your deck to your hand this turn, except by drawing it, while you control this card face up, so you can draw a card, then discard a card. So essentially, if he's face up on the field, as well as Yamato, and you add cards from your hand, this thing will essentially give you another draw and a discard. So that's why he's pretty good. I've been testing him out, and he's been pretty good. He's not bad. That's it for the Bujin Beast Warrior dudes. Essentially your bosses.
It's a female.
Oh yeah, this is the only female one. You essentially can only run one of each on the field at the same time. So that's why that's one drawback of them. So next we'll go to the actual Bujingis, the actual utilities. We do run 3 Cranes. This is kind of your main honest of the deck. You discard this anytime during the damage step, and you essentially double any of your Bujin attacks. It's pretty good. You'll always be searching this, more than likely. We do play only 2 Hares. He is cloggy because he can only be used once a turn, and he only protects once that turn. So that's why we only play 2. Turtle might go to 3 because you can activate this anytime. It's anytime an effect that targets one of your Bujins is activated, you can essentially negate that, and you can do that as many times. So that's why I really like Turtle. So he might actually go to 3. One Sinew, for this variant, I found the need for only 1. He's essentially a graveyard honest. He does exactly what honest does, but just in the graveyard. So that's why he's pretty good. And then 1 Quillen. Destroying face-up cards is pretty decent, especially against Monarchs and Pendulums. So that's why I really like Quillen, at least as a 1-of in the deck. And then for the non-Bujin monsters, I do play 2 honest. Just give us more honest, essentially. For now, the spells. We do play the best spell card in the deck is 3 Tenkies. Essentially, searches out Yamato. More than likely, that's what this is going to be used for, searching Yamato. It essentially gives us any access to any of our Beast Warriors, so that's why it's good. We also play 3 Pots duality. We rarely special summon in this deck, and that's why we want to run 3. Just as many search cards as possible to get us to our Yamato as fast as physically possible. And then we play 3 Bujin Carnations. Essentially, this is the power play of the deck, and and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to play this deck. Essentially, you play this card if you control no monsters, and your opponent does control a monster. You can special summon a Bujin or Bujingi, any Bujin monster from your graveyard or in your banished. So you special summon those, and you essentially go for a Susanoo play.
It's good that you just said you don't special summon much of the deck.
Yeah,
this some card.
Yeah, this is essentially the best. It's awesome. That's essentially helps you win games. And then probably the quote-unquote helmet card of the deck is Kaiser Coliseum. This essentially in my opinion, is what keeps this deck relevant. Maybe besides Credit Demise or something that I am not running in this build. Essentially, you just have your 1 Yamato on the field, and then you play this, and you essentially are pretty set, because then your opponent can only use like 1 monster at a time. This essentially almost auto-wins you against Pendulums, because they can only Pendulum summon 1. So that's pretty important to remember. And then I do play, in the main deck, 2 Chalice, because while targeting isn't very good against Cosmo, that's really kind of about it. Maybe Monarchs a little bit, but like I still think this is pretty important, being able to negate effects on the field. Especially negating the what's his name, the Ignister. being able to negate your opponent's one Ignister is really, really important, because you don't mind battle. It's just protecting yourself against that card effect, because Ignister doesn't target. So essentially, your turtle and your hare in the graveyard are essentially dead to Ignister, so this is what really, really helps that. And then we do play one Regeki. Clearing boards is very, very important, and that's why we play Regeki. And then for traps, it's kind of small, but it's okay. 2 Fiendish Chains and 2 Break Their Skills. Same thing with like Yang Zings. I'm still kind of on a 2-and-2 ratio. I still think these are pretty important. You can kind of side these in and out as you please, depending on the matchup. And then we do play 1 Bottomless, 1 Vanities, and 1 Solemn. Just some kind of summon stoppers. These are pretty important, pretty things to help you stay in the game. I just really like them. You could swap these up for strikes if you had them, but I just don't have strikes, so it's whatever. For the extra deck, the most important card of the extra deck is Susanoo. Essentially, you can detach a material from this card to search your deck for any Bujin, and then you could either keep it in your hand or you can discard it.
Or give him to Nurse Joy.
Or that too. And its inherent effect is this thing can attack all of your opponent's monsters once a turn. So this plus Honest is essentially the main reason why I wanted to play this deck. You attack your opponent's strongest monster, drop Honest, and then you attack all their monsters. That's why Susanoo is so good. This is essentially the main thing that you'll actually be going for in this deck. It's pretty good. And then for the extra Bujin, for Bujinkis, we do play 1 Kagetsuchi. Summon this thing, mill 5 cards, and it's also protecting of itself, and it gains a boost. So he's pretty good. 1 Amaterasu. You'll more than likely almost never go into this because he requires 3. But what he does is what she does, is you can detach a material from this card, and depending on whose turn it is, you can either target a banish level 4 or lower and special summon it. One of your monsters, or you could target during your opponent's turn. You could target a banish level 4 or lower and add it to your hand. So that's why he's pretty good. That's why she's pretty good. And you could play Tsukuyomi if you want, but I just kind of go in and out.
Left it in your room.
Huh?
You left it in your room.
Sure. We do play, and then for the extras, we do play 1 Bear. Bear's pretty good because
that's a Tiger King.
Oh, yeah. Tiger King. We don't play Bear in here. This is Tiger King. It's pretty good. Negates effects. That's why it's pretty good.
Searches out your Tenki as well.
Yeah, I can search out the Tenki if you really, really need it. $2 because we are in a format where things go into the graveyard is pretty important. Get out of here, Burning Abyss, and that's why we like Double Dweller. 101 because 101 is still pretty good. Stealing opponent's monster, stealing the Ignister. Castel, bouncing the Ignister, spinning the Ignister. I really like Castel. Castel's really good. Steelstorm Roach. Steelstorm Roach is pretty good. Being able to negate summons, I still really like it. Diamond Direwolf, being able to destroy back row before your opponent gets a chance to use them. I really like that. You don't really get the chance to use it that much, but it's pretty good.
Well, and you also have plenty of targets for, like, if you want to trivia off another one, too.
Oh, yeah, of course. Deckathon Emerald, it's Deckathon Emerald, being able to just put back a lot of your cards. If the game really goes to a state where you need to recycle cards, you have the means to, and that's why Emerald's here. And then Cowboy, this one's AJ's. You can tell by the sleeve because I forgot mine in my room. But Cowboy's good. Go Cowboy for game. That's why I really, really like it. That's my Bujin deck profile. This is probably one of my favorite control decks to play. There is a Demise variant that you could run where it's essentially carded Demise, Helmet, Bujins that I haven't had a chance to play just because I don't have carded Demise, and that's why I'm not playing it right now at the moment. But I still really, really like this deck, and if you're really interested in like really pretty decks that are control-based decks that are really fun to play, you should give Bujins a try. But I know a lot of players hate Bujins from back in 2014. But I really like Bujins. I'm really glad I'm playing the deck, and thank you for watching.